motherfucker with his
I get it.
goddamn like musketeer curls. The fuck, you
Yeah.
trying to sell me a baguette in fucking Paris? The fuck?
Dude, I love that word choice, a baguette. I'm glad that's the
Motherfuckers gonna
first
try
word.
to sell me a goddamn croissant or a baguette. Anyways,
Hello,
welcome
sir.
into another episode of Slightly Serious.
What's up? Hello, would you like to buy a croissant?
We got fucking Fresh Nick and Zane here. And how y'all doing? How you
Well,
doing,
hello.
bro? How you doing?
What's up, bro? It's been a minute.
It has.
We got on
It's been, what,
we
2
got on
weeks?
this call together, 15 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden we're streaming a video.
Yeah, we just hopped in, said you would get to this shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're chilling, man.
What have you been up to? I haven't really even talked to you this week.
Working, reading. So I finished this. I think we talked. I was like almost done with it last time we talked. I finished that and I've started the.
Which one is that?
Oathbringer. This is the third main book, so I've officially finished both of the middle of the novellas and the third book. I'm on the fourth.
So you
book.
only have one book left.
Yeah, until December when the fifth.
Let
book
me
comes
see
out.
that cover art again, real quick. Hold on. Pull that bad boy open. Look at the inside of this. Well, that's okay, but like this, that's wild. Oh, it flipped shut. I like the yellow cover though. What's on the front? Is it like engraved on the front on the yellow cover? Like take the whole flap off. Oh yeah. Don't be afraid to grip it. Don't be afraid to hold it. You got to really grab your books,
and
man.
It's got the gold inlay for the thing there. Doesn't look like there's anything on the back.
That's that Tor fiction binding. Is that what it is?
Yup.
Tor fantasy binding.
But yeah, no, just been reading. So I finished this on the fourth book. I'm a good way through the fourth book. I'm on chapter like 60 or 70 or some nonsense, I think.
Hell yeah. How many chapters are in one of those?
Well, it depends. Some of them are over 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts.
Let me see here. But currently I have 13 and a half hours left. I'm on chapter 83, actually, is what it's saying. Yeah,
cool.
No, it's been really cool.
You like it? Is that one as good as the others, or is
this one's fantastic. The turn the story is taking, I wasn't expecting, so that's been fantastic. It's really, really well written. I'm gonna be sad for like the 3 months I have to wait for fucking the last book to come out after I finish it, because I'll have this finished.
Oh, that's right. Because you said he's doing 5, right?
Yeah.
You have up to 4.
Yeah. So I have the fourth one. I'm almost done with it. It's at 13 hours. I'll have that finished Thursday, at the latest, and then I'll have to find something else to read in the meantime until the fifth book comes out.
You think you're gonna continue to read like fantasy stuff, or you think you'll
Probably.
do something else?
I don't really do a whole lot of reading outside of fantasy, outside of like the 12 rules and shit we did, but I don't really do a lot of like nonfiction or like educational reading as much as I probably should, but it's hard for me to really focus on that kind of stuff when I'm like.
I didn't really read that at all for, like a really long time. I was all about fiction, dude. I was all about just like random stories. I just thought about the fact that we're recording right now, right?
Yeah.
We're like in it. So like this is technically Book Corner. Welcome to the Book Corner. That's like right from the get-go. Not really. I guess we're just talking.
You just asked what I was up to. I told you I was reading.
Yeah, that's true. You just been reading that. Well, you're still doing an audiobook, or do you read the?
I do the audiobook.
I'll
probably sit down and read a little bit of the fourth book here the next day or so. I have some free time, so I might actually read some physical option for a little bit. Other than that,
I have the kindness of like staring at my whole bookshelf while I'm talking to you, and I'm just like, wow. To think that I could like throw so much your way, but you can't read it because you're on the road.
Yep.
Like, I just want to give you like all of these. I want to be like, bro, read this. I have this right here.
Yeah, I mean, physical book. Like, I would get books to read if I did more physical reading. I don't, because I said most of my time's driving, so I just do audio.
Yeah.
Like I think I've shown you before, but like the library of my audio book is just.
Oh wow!
Those are all my audiobooks I've read.
That's stuff you've been listening to?
That's all stuff I've read. The only thing in here I haven't actually read is the book I'm currently doing, and then I have Beyond Order, which is the second book for the 12 Rules of Life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, I haven't actually.
It's in the back of this.
Yeah, but I have the audio for that too. I just haven't actually listened to that one. I was thinking if we get down to 12 rules, we go into the second book together. It'll be fresh in my mind. It'll be the first time reading it when we go through that one.
Yeah, you and I left off like halfway through that Rule 9. We never even got to like. I even put a note in it that said "pick up here." Yeah. Like it even says.
Yep.
So when we talk about it, I did want to like. There was more I wanted to.
Yeah, we can hop right into it unless you got anything else.
Do you want to do it? You just want to. Let's just. I know we got other books. Since we're already doing it. I mean, I don't. At this point, it's like more of like, hey, this podcast is us just talking anyway. So.
Yeah. So we'll move into the book corner and continue on with last.
So welcome to our book corner.
So last week we were talking about the 9th rule on the 12 Rules of Life.
Yeah, Jordan B. Peterson, who's a clinical psychologist, wrote this book, 12 Rules for Life. Well,
he's a bunch of things, but he's really cool, really good. He explains a lot of things. But we spent pretty much like an hour and 20 minutes talking about the 9th rule last week. There's a lot of stuff, good conversations that come up with this rule. So we're going to kind of finish that rule up.
I like how you put he's a bunch of things. He's probably also a dad.
He's a dad. He's got podcasts. He does podcasting. Yeah. He's a teacher at I don't remember what college off the top of my head, but he's a teacher. He does a lot of shit. So he's more than just a psychologist.
I have to get out of the habit of just like putting a label on people just as they're just this.
Yeah. No, he's quite a few things when it comes down to it.
That's cool. Well, it was rule number 9. And it was about listening. Off the top of your head, do you remember what the rule itself, how it was phrased, what it was called?
It was like, always assume the person you're talking to knows something you don't.
Oh, assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't.
Listening to, that's right.
Yeah, listening to. It's all about listening.
I think we titled the last episode "The Art of Listening," which is kind of how we were summarizing it. Like it's a skill to listen properly, because like you can hear people, but are you actually listening to what they say? Because there's a lot that comes to it. And I had somebody told me that like listening is potentially one of the hardest easy things to do. Because like in concept, listening should be an easy thing, but to properly listen is probably one of the hardest things to do, because you have to, not only hear what they're saying, but then comprehend and truly like be processing it.
You have to be present for the conversation.
Yeah. So this says, so he says so like the concept of listening is an easy thing. It's like you just hear what they're saying. He's like, but to properly listen is like it's probably one of the hardest things to do. As like a person to like actually listen. I thought that was just.
You're not wrong. For those of you who have been following us, I have been marking in the pages some of the things that marked in this one. As we continue on the subject, is we make eye contact. We can see each other's expressions. They can observe the effects of their words on me, and I can observe the effects of mine on them. They can respond to my responses. So he goes, that's part of, Freud. One of the things Freud would do is he would not face his patients. One of the things he would just, he wouldn't face them. So they wouldn't, anything that they said, they would just be talking, and they wouldn't be able to see any hint or trace of a reaction in his facial expressions, because he didn't want to, in any way, shape, or form, hinder their personal growth process by getting in the way. And so Jordan B. Peterson is talking about the reverse of that, being when you are talking to somebody or listening to them, also being able to observe through eye contact and facial expressions, other things that you might not have gotten just from the words themselves.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah, exactly. Context clues. So that's one of the things I put in here as well. And then I have some other note in here. It says past shaping, eternal spirit. But I
don't know what
don't
your
quite.
notes mean. I wasn't there.
I don't even know what my notes mean sometimes. I think I just like read certain things and I'm like, oh, this makes sense. I even have this that says, I feel stable. Some of you may be feeling that you listen well to people and that you have never seen such results. The chances are very great indeed that your listening has not been of the type I have described. He suggested to his readers that they conduct a short experiment when they next found themselves in a dispute. Stop the discussion for a moment and institute the rule. Each person can speak up for himself only after he has first restated the ideas and feelings of the previous speaker accurately. Mm-hmm. So it's like whenever you're talking to somebody, you can no longer say anything until you have just repeated back what they said, and then you can say something new.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you try this, then you will actually understand what listening really is, because you have to be able to process what the other person said.
Or you'll get yelled at by whoever you're arguing with because you improperly repeat what they say, and then they get
they'll be like,
more
that's
mad
not
at you.
What I said, bro.
That's not what I fucking said. You don't listen to me. You don't even love me. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
I felt that. That was like personal. That was personal for you.
I was passionate about that one. Sorry. Some trauma in my life.
Yeah. So I mean, this one was really just, I don't know. Now that I like go back into this, I don't want to go.
There's probably not a whole lot more in that one.
There's not a whole bunch. I mean, it's just more that
But we have other books to talk about. So
we do have a lot. What else? I mean, have you been reading anything else before I start my stuff?
I said I finished this one up since we talked.
Tell me about that first. I don't want to start mine.
So
yet. What do you got going on?
Is the third book in the Stormlight Archive series, and it's just continuation of that story. And I said it's super long. I said they're all 1,000+ pages, 50+ hours of audio. Like, it's a long story, but it's so much detail, so well written. It's told from multiple point of views, so you're seeing the story progress, but from multiple angles. So it's like interesting because like you'll know what one person did and their thoughts, and then like the next chapter will be a different character, but it was like it could have been someone they were just talking to.
For people who aren't familiar with this series whatsoever, what's the general premise behind it?
I mean, it's a fantasy series about war and magic, and people's legacies, and just trying to save their try to win a war, save their people, kind of thing.
Does it take place in the future, the present, the past?
It's its own timeline. It's its own world.
Kind of like
its own thing. So there's no like
Tolkien type thing. J.R.R. Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings trilogy and stuff.
It's its own world, its own timeline. So there's no like really comparing it to our time. It's a different world, all sorts of things like that. So there's no way to like say if it's in the past and stuff. I mean, it's medieval fantasy, so there's swords, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's a different planet, things of that sort. Different.
You said something about bridges at one point. What was that thing you were talking about? The bridge bringers or something?
Oh, bridges. That's just part of the first story. Is the like one of the characters' storylines. He's part of a group called the Bridge Crew, and they because part of the war takes part on this like area called the Shattered Plains, and it's just a bunch of like raised plateaus that have like 100-foot drops into these chasms, but there's like hundreds of these plateaus. So to get across them, they have crews that carry a ladder or a bridge, and they put the bridge down. The army can cross, and then they pick the bridge back up and go to the next like crossover. But because it's a war zone, they can't just build permanent bridges, so they have temporary ones they carry.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it's a great part of the story. But the whole book, the whole story is just fantastically written. There's a good amount of fighting sprinkled in there, so there's always like constant things. But there's a lot of like political dilemmas, moral dilemmas, a lot of internal thought processes. And instead of the fact that it's from different points of views, it's not like it's 1 or 2, 3 characters. There's like 10 different characters that there's been chapters from their point of view.
Yeah, who was that character that you were telling me about who was like drawing stuff?
That's the one that's on the front here. This is Shalon, and she has like picture perfect memory, and she can draw everything from memory like exactly. And I can actually pull up in here.
Yeah, she's got like journal entries, right?
Yeah, she has journal entries, and her sketches she does to like catalog people and places she meets. Trying to find one of her sketch pages. So there's a lot of like pictures in here that are just outtakes of her sketchbook. So there's like, and then it's like her notes.
Oh,
And
dude,
stuff
that
and
looks like a
writing.
little Quidditch thing, though. Doesn't it look like a little Quidditch thing? What's that called? A
Oh,
snitch?
snitch. Yeah.
Looks
So
like a
they're
snitch,
so
bro.
they're called a hunger spren in the story, and
They're called what?
they're called hunger spren, and they're a thing that shows up.
Hunger Spread.
So like in the world, like there's like creatures instead of like normal animals as much. There's a lot of creatures that show up that are called spren, and but they're based off of emotions. So if you're really scared, you'll have fear spren that show up. Or if you're hungry, you'll have hunger spren that fly around you. Or if you're feeling real like you just did something fantastic, there's glory spren that'll show up. Like it's like so like half the creatures are based off of human emotion.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
And then you find out that there's like another like realm, it's like another dimension where those creatures actually live, but they pop into your dimension pulled in by your emotions and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so it's really, really cool. So there's a lot more to that. So there's so much in depth to this. That
So, this is Brandon Sanderson.
Mhm.
This is Oathbringer. This is number 3. And in between these 3, there were 2 novellas or 3 novellas?
2 novellas. So there was the first book, a novella. The second book, a novella. The third book, and now the fourth book.
So there's no novella in between 3 and 4.
Nope.
Interesting.
And then, from what I know, there's not another one in between 4 and 5 either.
Do you feel like the 2 novellas were necessary to
Absolutely.
like the plot?
And he explains that too. He goes, when I started writing the next book, there was some character development that was coming in that it didn't feel fair that it happened off the page. You know, he's like, so I put a novella in to kind of catch up those characters to the current storyline. Because like they might have been like characters in passing in the second book, but they become more of a prominent character in the third book. He's like, but in order to kind of catch you up on their story, he's like, I gave them their own novella to kind of catch their storyline up to the main story. So that when they come back in the main story, you understand how they got to where they were.
Huh.
So it was just really cool how it's written. But it's just fantastic. A lot of good things. And so that multiple point of view writing style is fantastic. Because like you could have like 4 characters in a room for like a major meeting or something. And then the next 4 chapters will be each one of those characters like after the meeting, and you're like hearing their thought processes and how they move on from whatever just happened. Or if something happens to a group, each person reacts different, so you're hearing their thoughts. And
I think that's one of the really cool elements about reading a book is because thoughts become a life form.
no, it's really, really crazy. And it's like the fact, as I told, like the human emotions themselves have actually been manifested as creatures over time. So like hunger and fear and pain and even death and like decay, like they have their own like creatures that appear. So like if someone gets hurt, they'll have like, you know, pain spread and stuff. But if that injury gets infected, then there'll be rot spren that show up, you know, indicating that now there's like rotting and infected parts of them. So it's really, really cool thing.
Yeah, that sounds nuts. How long are these books again? They're like over 1,000 pages each.
Yeah, I don't think any of other than the novellas, which are like almost 300 pages each. The main story books are all over 1,000. Some are like 1,200 pages.
Wow.
A lot of content, and it said like I'm almost done with the 4th book, and then I get to cry for 3 months until the 5th book shows up.
You know that there's actually a release date for it?
Yeah, December 26th.
Oh, so it's a Christmas. Maybe it'll be my Christmas gift to you. I was gonna get you dildos, but I think I got you enough of those.
Oh yeah, no, I'm running out of space in that drawer.
Is that Sibian still working?
Oh, I gotta get a new power adapter for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you can't have that thing running out of juice.
Yeah, the leather's kind of getting cracked from overuse. I might have to get it reupholstered, but
well, pleather doesn't wear or tear with age. That's why I told you should go pleather all the time.
Yeah, but the feel of real leather though, like, can't beat it. Anyways,
that's true.
But yeah, that's the books I've been reading. So outside of that, I haven't really read much else. I've been getting like listening to a lot of fantasy football stuff, because you know football season has officially started, so that's been taking up some of my focus.
I have heard of this thing called football, or the ball of foot.
That's what I'm gonna have to focus on for these next.
Tell me, how
months.
is this played?
Fantasy football, it's pretty much just like, so if you have like If you're okay with just watching like one game a week, you're watching your team and then being happy with that, then fantasy football may not be your thing. I like to watch any game, be able to enjoy any game. Because if I watch a game that doesn't have my team in it, I'll find the sport interesting, but I may not be as invested because I don't care about either of the teams.
Okay.
But when you do fantasy football, you have a team built of players from different teams. So like you have like a roster you make where you have like players from different teams and stuff. So now it's how each player is doing is more important. So you're watching games, watching individual people. So now almost any game you watch, you're interested because you're like trying to see how everybody's doing, not just the team, but the players themselves. And then like this league is for money. So like you pay a little bit of money to get in, everybody puts some money down, and then like the winner, the top like 3 people win a prize at the end of the season.
How do you pick your team? That makes it fair.
It's like a draft style. So there's a thing called a snake draft where like, so we had 10 teams. So like when it starts out, it randomly picks an order.
Okay.
So then the first person picks and it goes down the line. And then it's the last person, he'll pick for the last one for the first round, and then he'll pick the first one for the second round.
So he's not left in 10th place
so
every time.
It makes a stake as it goes down the draft
Yeah.
board. So it's
That's
a little
smart.
bit fair that way. I was literally dead center. I was pick number 5. So 5 and 6 are the 2 center picks. I was like pretty much in the same spot every round. So I did a pretty good one. I'm currently getting my butt kicked this week. I won the first week, but this week I'm struggling a little bit. I'm starting to catch up, but it's not looking good for your boy this week.
I would say the middle, I guess, is probably the hardest spot to be in.
Not as much because the hard decisions get made for you. So there's always like every year like 4 or 5 players that are like arguably the best to pick. So if you're pick 5 or 6, you don't have to just make that decision on which one of these 5 do I want to get. You just get whatever's left. You don't have to make the hard decision. The first 4 guys make the hard decision, and then you pick the 5th one. So if it takes some of it out, it was a little more relaxing spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it a lot, and it really helps me enjoy football throughout the year. You know, when I live on the other side of the country from where
the way
my
you
team
explained
is.
it makes more sense to me because I was like, I never really kind of understood, but now I get.
It literally makes you, like I said, you can pull up any game, and have something to pay attention to, something to be invested in. Because now you have your own team that you're like watching, and then you have like each week you get faced against one of the other people. So now your players are trying to get points, their players trying to get points, and then you have a point total at the top, and whoever has the most points at the end wins for the week.
Oh yeah.
So it's really cool. I've been enjoying it, as I said, quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
So,
I said like this.
You think you got a chance? You think you got a chance of coming in top?
I mean, I won the first week. This one's going to be close. Currently, I'm losing, but there's still a chance that I can, pull it off. But either way, I think I have a chance to get top 3. I think top 3 get money at the end. I think 3rd place, you get your money back. Like whatever you paid to get in, you get that money back at the end of the year.
Oh, that's cool.
I think first.
But no matter what, you're just paying the
Yeah, then I think first and second place, like first place gets the like 70-something%. Second place gets like 30%, and then third gets their spot back, gets their money.
Yeah.
Back. So
yeah.
you can make
How
some
many
money
people
with it
play?
too. We have 10 people in our league, so there's 10 of us.
And how much is it to get in?
It's $25 a person on this one.
There's $250 in the pot.
Yeah. So I mean, like, $25 for a year of like in something to enjoy, and then you have a chance to win some money with it.
That's cool. That's a lot of fun.
Like it's usually like mid-December is when it ends, so you might win yourself $150.
And it's cheap too, $25. I mean, who cares?
I mean, I've been in leagues that were like $100 each person, so it was like $1,000.
I paid $25 for fucking Chipotle, bro. You know what I mean? Like.
So, but yeah, no, I've been enjoying it. This one's been interesting because it's my girlfriend's family. It's their league. I was kind of like a last second addition to the league, so that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was like talking to her dad, and I was like, "Yeah, I like fantasy football. I just don't have a league." He goes, "Hold on." He like starts texting. And he goes, "What's your phone number?" And I gave it. And he texted, and all of a sudden my phone goes off, and it was like one of her cousins. She's like, "We got a spot in our league, man. We got you."
Oh, that's cool.
So like I haven't even met this part of her family, and I'm in here trying to beat them in some fantasy football and take their money.
To get it in. You know what?
I'm
And
gonna
if you
introduce
don't take their
myself to her
money, then they're
family.
just
I'm gonna
happy
take
with
their
you.
money. You know.
So it's a win-win situation.
But no,
Um,
I'm happy with it though.
that's cool, dude. That's fun.
So you've been reading your what books you been reading?
Oh, dude, I've been on like my normal kicks. So let's start off with something that I haven't really been talking about. The octopus.
I need to dig back and find the clip of him saying that the octopus is sexy.
Can you pull it out while we're
Well, we're
talking?
doing it right now. No, I don't know.
No, you wouldn't be able to do it.
I have to go. I might be able to pull it up.
I don't know how you would do that while we're on the thing, but I'll keep talking about
you
this.
Talk,
so basically, this is.
I will attempt to find.
Yeah, you find it while I'm talking to you. So this is Octopus, the ocean's intelligent invertebrate, and it's a natural history, and it's actually co-authored by quite a few people: Jennifer A. Mather, Roland C. Anderson, and James B. Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a cool cover too. Back of it's kind of cool. Anyway, I have some fun facts about the octopus for you. So regarding the plural formation of the word, plural form, how do you think you would say the plural of octopus? What do you think it is?
I mean,
because I always thought it was octopi.
Yeah, octopi sounds right, but
what would your guess be? What is it? I always thought octopi.
Well, I mean, if you're asking me and you said you thought it was octopi, it's probably not octopi. So the only other thing is octopuses.
Okay. By the way, the plural of octopus is an octopi because the word is Greek. Octopus, P-O-U-S to be exact, not Latin. The Greek plural would be octopodes, but we call them octopuses. So it's octopuses. If you see a bunch of octopuses, there's octopuses out there. Look at all those octopuses. Not octopussies.
Yeah.
Not octopi.
I know what episode the sexy octopus is from, but I have no way to pull it up exact because at that point
we can maybe find it, but you can reference back if you want to go back to our videos. You'll find one that is titled something about a sexy octopus. I personally find an octopus to be the sexiest of creatures. Someone had to say what's the sexiest creature? It's an octopus for sure. In fact, if a woman had an octopus tattooed like on her side with the fucking tentacles coming around, and even a guy, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. Octopuses are great. Love a good octopus. Here's some more fun facts. Females don't eat while guarding their eggs. Because the female octopus usually doesn't eat while she is guarding eggs, she may lose up to 50% of her body weight during development of the eggs. Not eating while brooding the eggs has several advantages. First, she doesn't foul the den with food waste or feces, which helps ensure good water quality for the eggs. She certainly could leave the den to find food or eliminate body waste, but that would mean exposing her eggs and herself to danger from predators. Fish of several species follow foraging octopuses, hoping to snatch a bit of food, and being out eating would advertise a female's whereabouts. Second, she won't produce a midden of shells or other food remains in front of her maternal den. Some octopus predators, including humans, target den middens. I think I'm saying that correctly. Finding them by sight or chemical cues. Third, not eating eliminates any chemicals arising from her metabolism or in her feces. Moray eels can find octopuses in their den, but it is not known yet what chemicals from octopuses they sense. So they don't eat while they're... Yeah, I mean, it's just wild. The colder the water, the longer the development period. So many octopus's eggs take a long time to develop. While the 224 days Olive's eggs took to hatch is a bit more than the about 6 months reported for the species, this egg development period is by no means the longest for an octopus species. Egg development time is dependent on the temperature of the water. The colder the water, the longer the development period within the egg. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if you know this.
Makes sense, 'cause a lot of eggs need to be, when they incubate, it needs to be warmer. So
is that true?
Yeah, I mean that's why
like creatures
lay on their eggs and like keep them
to
warm.
warm them up,
Yeah.
and it speeds up the
or like
the
people
burning
that
process.
do like incubation chambers are warmed, usually, unless it's a creature that needs cold. But like incubation, they have heat lamps and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that so that makes sense. So colder water is a longer development period. Doesn't have the heat. What do you think like the lifespan of an octopus is?
100 years.
Oh, it's like 3 or 4 years, really. Like octopuses really live like, but I mean it depends on the type. I mean, here is like one where there's a 10-year span. It says, oh well, yeah. There's a lot here that I did not like note this very well, so I can't really go into the facts of this one, unfortunately, and it's gonna take me too long to find on that. There's a lot of notes here. It gets into like plankton stuff too, like. Plankton, the word plankton alone is derived from the Greek root word meaning free floating or wandering, which I didn't know. You remember Plankton from SpongeBob? You remember that character? He wasn't free floating or wandering. I mean, yes, he kind of wandered around and he lived in the chum bucket.
Are you really gonna take SpongeBob as a completely accurate source?
That's how I basically knew everything. I thought I knew everything there was to know about sea development until I picked up this book, because I was like, well, I know, I've watched SpongeBob, so I pretty much know about sea creatures. But I picked it up and I was like, I'll just be open to it. I'll keep an open mind, and maybe I might learn something aside from what they taught me in SpongeBob. And what do you know, man? Look at this. I'm learning stuff. Mainly it just talks about the dependence of, but yeah, I'm reading now. I don't want to go in too much. It's a really cool book. It's a little bit like super. I mean, it's rich with history of the octopus and
I'm
so
not surprised
much information.
You
so it's a little dry. It's a little dry.
I will have to find that clip and try to put it in here if I can.
Put it in there.
But it's freaking funny.
It's funny. It's a funny clip. I'll even help you try to find it at some point. So we went over the octopus. We did all that. For those of you who know, I've been really into, studying different aspects of spirituality, including most recently Buddhism.
Buddhism.
In fact, the ones I've been reading were, what have I done? Remember what was the first one? The Elements of Buddhism?
Elements, then you had the Essence.
I actually passed that book along as someone else who might have decided they might want some interest in it or had wanted just, I was like, you want a book? And they're like, yeah. So I started them with that one. That's the one I started with. So I passed it along.
Oh yeah. You can talk about your book there. I'm going to go grab a fill up on my water. And then we'll...
Oh, you're going to go refill? I need to fill up on my water. Then we can take turns. Then you're going to have to talk for a little bit. Hey, some pretzels. I got pretzel too. I grabbed a pretzel, bro.
My food got delivered.
I knew it wasn't just water.
I just didn't want to be like, I got food. Fuck this podcast. I'm getting some food.
So I also got and we don't just keep that in. I don't care. It's our podcast. If you don't like it, I really hope you do. But if you don't, I'm sorry. What can we do to please you? I guess I don't know. Here we fundamentals of Buddhism. This one's really cool, man. And as you can tell, I really got into it. So that was the second one I read. This was the third one. Remember the Essence?
Oh yeah, and then so Elements, Essence, and then the fundamental one is what you were. The three.
So those are all done. I finished the fundamentals. So here's the deal about the fundamentals. This one I loved. I absolutely cannot. Both of these, wow. If I had to even above the Elements, just wow. But this, and the only thing I'm going to tell you about it is this, right here. Forward. Buddhism. Whatever the heck.
Buddhism. What the fuck is Buddhism?
Clearly, I didn't have enough water. I almost choked on it.
So fucking Buddhism.
I love us.
If you're not ready to fully commit to Buddhism, Try out Buddhism. It's Buddhism without the tism.
Oh, man. Buddhism has long been an important part of the cultural heritage of Southeast Asia. The monuments of Angkor Wat in Cambodia and Borobudur in Indonesia, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, are just two of countless testimonies to the former greatness of Buddhism in this region. In Singapore, too, Buddhism is an important element in the cultural heritage of the people. The fact that a large section of the Chinese community, as well as the small but influential Sri Lankan community, acknowledge Buddhism as the primary force shaping their religious ideals and moral values is more than proof of this. Nonetheless, it is certain that if Buddhism is to continue to exercise a positive influence upon present and future generations, it cannot remain content with the achievements of the past. The religious ideals and moral values of Buddhism, which have proved so useful to past generations, must be transmitted to men and women living in a changing world. In order that this can be accomplished, it is important that the teachings of the Buddha be made available to the largest number of people. With this objective in mind, the Sri Lankaramaya, I'm so sorry I cannot pronounce this, Buddhist temple invited Dr. Santina to deliver a series of public lectures. The lectures outlined the fundamentals of Buddhism and were well delivered. As a result, it was decided to produce transcriptions of the lectures and publish them in the form of a book to be made freely available. It is also hoped that the publication will contribute in a small degree to the understanding of the genuine teachings of the Buddha. Sincerest thanks are extended to all those who lent their invaluable support and contribution to this project, and so on and so forth. So that's what it was. It was a series of lectures that this man, Peter D. Santina, spoke so eloquently that they were like, you know what? We're going to transcribe these, put it into a book form, and distribute it freely. So, because this needs to be, people need to hear this. Oh, yeah. So that was really cool. I really liked it a lot. And then I immediately went and I was like, should I take a break from the Buddhism stuff? Like, should I just like take a break from it? Because like it's really like drawing me in, and like, you know, there's a lot of other things that I want to read, and there's a lot of other stuff that I want to learn about. You know, I was into mushrooms for a bit, and I was really getting into, you know, a lot of other philosophy and stuff too. But I immediately jumped right into this. Meditation. And it was written by the Dalai Lama, and it's called The Heart of Meditation, Discovering the Innermost Awareness. Translated and edited by Jeffrey Hopkins from Oral Teachings. And I did the same thing I've been doing, man. I tore it up.
Tore it up,
bro.
Pour some coffee on it?
No. Well, no coffee on this one. Although I haven't held it under a black light in a minute, so who knows what's going on here. Every once in a while, these books get a whole bunch of stuff spilled on them, and it dries, and then I realize they're covered.
Well,
anyway.
It's also a side effect of having kids, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can't blame the coffee on that, but...
No, a lot of this is, yeah. So this one I really liked as well. I don't really want to go into this one too. I just...
something you've been reading. That's cool.
I just went in again, bro. I started doing that. And now I'm reading this one. The Yamas and Niyamas. Exploring Yoga's Ethical Practice by Deborah Adele.
Yeah, you're getting flexible? Is that what you're doing?
Well, it's not that type of yoga.
You're getting mentally flexible.
It's yoga's ethical practices. That's physical yoga. That's a whole different type of
So you're getting thing. Mentally flexible. You're doing yoga.
Mentally flexible, dude. I'm doing Pilates in my mind, guy. That's why my mustache looks like this. I'm getting bendy, bro.
So you give you that baguette from behind. Psychedelic consciousness. Why does that motherfucker look high as shit?
Well, here's the deal. That is Albert Hoffman. And let me tell you something. You know how old Albert Hoffman was when he died?
97.
No.
43.
No.
I don't know. I'm just a lot of numbers to pick from, bro.
102, bro.
Yo, damn.
102. What blows my mind.
Ooh.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Hoffman passed away 2 years later on April 29th, 2008, the age of 102.
Could you imagine being 102? What year did he pass away?
2008. I was 18 years old.
Yeah, he was 102 in 2008. That means that motherfucker lived through both world wars, the recession, fucking Cold War, fucking, like, he's older than Hawaii has been a state. Like,
It's wild.
That dude's seen some shit.
So this was an interview with him, right? Get this. When you first discovered LSD, because this is the man who discovered LSD, did you have an intuitive sense that this drug would have the enormous impact on the world that it has? Or were you generally surprised by what followed? I was convinced from the very beginning of the fundamental impact. Now, this interview was when he was like 100 years old or 102. He might even been when he was 102.
Well, it's
like he's this old as he's answering these questions.
Yeah, didn't he say he died 2 years later? So he was 100.
Yeah, so he was 100. Oh, that's right. That's right. So he says, I was convinced from the very beginning of the fundamental impact. What motivated or inspired you to go back and synthesize LSD a second time in 1943? I synthesized LSD a second time for a deeper pharmacological investigation. How has your own use of LSD affected your philosophy of life? LSD showed me the inseparable interaction between the material and the spiritual world. What sort of association do you see between LSD and creativity? Since LSD opens up what Aldous Huxley called the doors of perception, it enhances the fields of creative activity. Do you think that LSD has affected human evolution? I do not know if it has affected human evolution, but I hope so. What are your thoughts on why LSD is almost universally prohibited by governments around the world? Zane, are you ready? This is the most profound answer. What are your thoughts on why LSD is almost universally prohibited by governments around the world? LSD belongs to a class of psychoactive substances that provide the user with a new concept of life. And this new way of looking at life is opposite to the officially accepted view. That's why it's outlawed. This is why things like mushrooms are outlawed, bro. It's because, like, after you see it differently and that seed, that idea is planted, that this is all.
Do you think that it
this
requires
constant
kind of
need for material possessions or getting money that doesn't have to be what it's all about? You will find and be able to find your path through here if you only pursue what you really are passionate about. Like if you really just only show love and you treat people with respect and you follow your heart with everything and you what feels right to you, sometimes it goes against the grain. And I think a lot of people have an issue with that. And it's so hard so here's the problem when you talk about the things that you understand or you know upon understanding or knowing things that are somewhat indescribable, is you almost have to be ambiguous because you can't actually put anything into a clear, coherent statement. And every time you do, it sounds ridiculous to you. You go, well, it doesn't right. And I know listening back to this, there's certain people who even hear me right now, they're going to go, well, it doesn't quite seem like he's making sense. I mean, it's because I can't. There's like no way you can unless you like. I don't even make sense to myself, but like through reading 50 books, somehow you just like you get a sense of a conception, but you still like know nothing. If that makes any sense. But what I do know is I'm kind of just getting started on it, man. I'm really going. Just don't be surprised, man, if your main dude, like, once obviously I have a responsibility to my kids, and I really do, but don't be surprised if, like, all of a sudden years from now I'm in some sort of like monastery or something, and like I'm just not. I'm like,
now,
I
are you
go
gonna be there as a monk or as like one of their mental patients they're trying to help?
I don't think that those two things are even remotely related.
I know some monasteries do some like psycho help.
No, I really don't think it's.
No,
I know you're joking, but it's
This is, are you gonna drive yourself crazy in the meantime? That's the kind of thing. Like, you're gonna read so many books, you'll be like, "What direction do I go?"
No, I'm pretty clear focused, man. I really am. I think very quickly, a lot of the things that are down are gonna go up, because life is a constant dance, man. It's like a pendulum swing.
So,
and
question
actually,
for you:
the worst positions you can get yourself in, allow you to almost even get to higher positions. People who live their whole life kind of floating between A through F only bounce back A through F in the opposite direction. And so that's the only pendulum you have. But people who go from A to Z have this bigger pendulum swing. And so they have the bigger highs and the bigger lows and stuff like that. And it's, if I've gone back and I'm real with myself and I look back at my whole life, it has been one giant dance, one giant swing of the pendulum, and me trying to, and the only thing that stops that pendulum from swinging is balance, finding perfect balance and not moving, and unwaverable balance. It's like being still and being water and allowing everything that hits you to just kind of flow over and under without it affecting you. And you keep your inner peace and you keep your inner calm and you don't shatter.
Oh yeah.
You looked like you were trying to attack an insect. Was there an insect attacking you?
No, I was thinking and stuff. So I have, when you said something about like how like LSD is like, it's against like the like official like normal, is why like a lot of people prohibit it.
Your viewpoint.
Yeah.
He was speaking on LSD, but I mean a lot of psychoactive substance.
But like you said, like why like they're disliked because it goes against common thinking. Remember I told you about a show called Ancient Apocalypse?
Yeah, I do.
I gotta figure out a way to get you to be able to watch it, because it's a lot of things he talks about in that. He's like, it's not with like LSD and stuff, but it's just generally about like, he talks about why like a lot of his discoveries, he got banned from like places because what he was saying and thinking and like the hypothesis that he came up with went against like the standard like belief on these like archaeological places, and so they like banned him from places because he was going against the like big archaeology thing.
If Jesus was a real person, of course he was crucified. If you're gonna walk around saying you are the Son of God, can you imagine? If you say something that goes against the grain, people will fucking hate you for it, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, in a sense, what I've started to like understand about myself internally is like, let me just say this: dogma, I. Now go look in a mirror, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Hell yeah. But yeah, we had some good talks. You've been reading a lot of your typical things.
Yeah. Oh, also, I have the complete works of Plato that I have been getting into, which Plato? Is really, really cool. Good old Plato, dude.
Must play Tao.
So I read Apology, and I read Euthyphro. I believe, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Euthyphro. Euthyphro. I loved both of these. I mean, these are brilliant. It's like his Socrates dialogues, the dialogues of Socrates. It's Plato writing them, but it's as if Socrates is like speaking with somebody else or against somebody else. I am obsessed with this now. Plato. I have the complete works. It was awesome. I also have this.
Nice.
Psilocybin Mushroom Bible. Just to get a general idea, I have this of a general idea. I'm just breaking out some stuff that I've had sitting on the shelf. that I really wasn't quite ready for yet. I felt like I had to build up to it. I had to check out some stuff out from the library first to really get to there. And Zane knows. There's a backstory. Go check out our other videos. 2 more things, Zane, and then I'm done with this. Because I'm done talking about these books right now. But this, as you remember that?
Yep. This is a dark magic one?
Not dark magic. It's high magic.
High magic. That's right.
Let me tell you something. The only book I've ever, well, there's a few books that I've come across that I won't really open anymore because they're really kind of terrifying. Hold on. I think. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. So here's the deal. I am not in any way, shape, or form telling people to go out and find these books and buy these books because I really do believe that if you plant a seed in your mind or a certain idea, it will taint you. If you can't get an idea out of your mind, I mean, you can literally taint yourself. So you make sure that the ideas you're putting in your mind are profitable ideas or healthy ideas. Ready? Here. Actually, this one is not an unhealthy idea. This will help you. It's a key to unlocking things that have locks on them. Okay.
Call the cops.
Here's another one.
Call the cops. He has 777 on my call the cops.
Here's another one.
Oh, I fucking spreading Aleister Crowley around here? Yeah, someone get the feds. Get the feds. The Book of the Law. Nice.
Okay, so, and then this is something that really I'm not even playing with you. Like I don't know that I'll ever open this again. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, no, I don't. Well,
it's Pandora's box. I have no idea what that is. Chaos magic.
I think that might be an unhealthy book in some ways. I really do think that there are certain things you have to be careful of. Yeah. I really do. I think there are some wild books out there. You gotta be careful of what you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think you can unlock some stuff that you. Not to mention, once you hassle the horde, it doesn't matter how much furniture you stack at the door. Aesop Rock.
Hell yeah. But
the last and final one. So Zane, the only thing I wanted to mention about this is you remember Middle Pillar?
Yeah.
And then Kabbalistic Cross. Middle Pillar, Kabbalistic Cross, and then this is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. It's so complicated, it's so long. Wild, but I did almost pass out the other day doing one of these things. I think a lot of what it has to do is because you're vibrating certain mantras or words in a sense that are from like old Hebrew, and they're all different words synonymous with the Almighty in ways. Mm-hmm. And it's this deep vibration, and it's the tones, and then I think it's the lack of air. You know, you're breathing, and then you're not breathing, and then for so long, and then you're not moving your body, so you're standing still. So what this does is these are ways of putting yourself into states and putting your brain into states that would be similar to those induced by taking a psychedelic drug.
Oh yeah.
So really, when you speak of certain meditative practices or things of that sort, or magic or high magic or chaos magic, things of that sort, it is going into a meditation or a trance-like state, but you're doing so with a certain intent. So when you finally enter it, once you've finally been standing there for 30 or 40 minutes with this breathing elevator, or not in this mantra, you're going in, and by the moment you enter, your intention's different depending on what you're doing. So by the time you cross the gates or the abyss, and this is why, for those of you who are familiar with Friedrich Nietzsche, I mean, this dude, when he said, you need to be careful because when you stare into the abyss stares back. Mm-hmm. You're like literally looking into the depths of your consciousness, what the conscious be all.
In this book, there's a time where like similar concepts of that are brought up because like one of the characters goes through a lot of like really dark thoughts and things like that. And there's a time where he like tried to kill himself, and he does. He goes to the edge of one of those like chasms I told you about earlier, and he like had the intentions to just jump off, but it was night, so he looks down and just sees an endless void, and he's like, it welcomed me. It was like calling to me and telling me that I was right to do this, and he's like, but it was just an empty chasm. It's just a dark thing, but because mentally he was there, it was like he connected to that, and he was like, it was like calling to me and telling me to jump and telling me to.
Yes.
There's a release if I just give up and like.
Keep going. Hold on, I'll be right back. Keep saying that. Hold on.
I don't know what I'll say. That was about the end of it.
So, the reason I wanted to dip, Zane, is because I, pertaining to what you were just saying, wrote some stuff down. That kind of was along the lines of what you're saying. Hopefully I find it in a minute here. Here's some just random quotes that I've been written in here. May the thinking person accept his pleasure, and the feeling person accept his thoughts. Such leads one along the way. That's Young. The opposite should be evened out in the opposite should be evened out in the individual himself. Like that. Will you therefore confuse yourself with a tree or animal because you look at them and because they exist with you in one and the same world? Must you be your thoughts because you are in the world of your thoughts? But your thoughts are just as much outside yourself as trees and animals outside your body. He sees badly who wants to see. He misses too much. You have overreached yourself. Every pair of eyes facing you has probably experienced something you could not endure. That's Lucille Clifton.
Who?
I don't think it was in this book because I'm not seeing it in there. I brought another book with me.
She's a poet. Lucille Clifton is a poet.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. She died in 2010. She was a finalist twice for a Pulitzer Prize for poetry.
So what's wild is I found this, so for those of you who don't know, I got rid of my car recently. I sold it because I can no longer keep up with the crazy expensive payments on it. And it just made more sense to sell it for basically what I owed on it than to keep paying. So I did. So I am living without a car for a little bit, and it's been a challenge, but until I absolutely need one for a moment, I can do without it. And it's been kind of a blessing in ways. But I found in the back of it this journal here from probably years ago. And it's interesting that at one point or another when I was writing in this, I had relatively the same mindset that I have discovered now. And I kind of wrote some of the same general ideas because I just wrote, the world is a mirror. Now change your mindset so the world looks different. Just as you would change your appearance so your reflection looks different. If the world is mind, change your mind because ideas and mindset plague you. And that's literally like, that's kind of a cool way to put it.
How high were you?
I don't know. It's a good question. And then there's another thing in here. It says, do not disclose too much information too quickly. Ambiguity can be helpful at first. I apparently wrote that at the time when I had it. And that's like pretty much all I wrote in here. There was not much. But Zane, you're not talking to me very much. You're not filling the gaps while I look at this.
I don't know what to fill in here.
Yeah, I guess you don't. I was trying to find the thing. I like this. A quality cannot be fully learned without understanding its opposite. That was kind of cool too. I don't know. I guess it's probably in one of my other many notebooks around here, but those are the only two that I thought.
I think you would enjoy this series that I'm reading.
Oh, dude, I couldn't get into it. I'm sure I would. I'm sure I'd love it. But I could not go. I don't. So here's the deal. Look at this. Just for those of you who have never seen my room, if you want to see it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, the reason I think you'd like this one is because it has so much talk about, like, mental things and, like, a lot of the kind of stuff we talk about. Where it's, like, there's, like, aspects of that in this story where they actually talk about it and, like, thought processes and mental mindsets to help get through things. So
much. And then there's all these. This is... Yeah. How do I turn this back now? I'm going to be stuck on this camera forever. No, I just like... So here's the deal. I have all these, and I have even more. I have a whole closet filled with a couple hundred more. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to start, like... I don't even have much money to buy people gifts, but, like, as gifts, or just, like, randomly, like, throughout life, I'm just going to start handing away books that I'm done with. There's no need to collect. At one point in my life, I had this dream that I was going to have this big house with this spiral staircase that went down or went up. Huh?
Still time.
Well, hold on. And I would have this huge library with all this stuff and all these different things. And I really just like wanted it to happen. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe it will never happen. And then maybe it will. But now I don't even want it. I don't want that. I literally, I kind of want to get rid of everything I feel like I don't need at all. I'm only going to continue. Right now, I'm really going to work hard to make sure I'm able to support my girls, because as they're getting older, they're going to need more for school and all these other things. I'm really going to make sure that that happens. I would never not let that happen. And I'm sure it will. And I'm sure if I follow my passions and I follow my heart, we know this podcast is going to take off too. Like, we both know it. We know that one day we're going to look back at this and we're going to, I mean, I'm going to say it right now on here. You look at our last video with, hundreds of views and everything, and you look at our first one with 24. I know this will take off. I really do. I know it will. And I know when it does, we're going to look back and we're going to go, oh, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine what it felt like when this like first started with nothing, And if it backfires, here's the deal though. If it backfires and it falls back in my face right now, I'm still going to smile. And I'm still going to go, you know what? That was so much fun. And I had a blast because I was like following my passions.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to go find something that I hate to do. And I'm not going to go wake up every single day and dread going to do it just so I can fill my pockets with a bank account, so I can buy a place and have more stuff to put more stuff in it. That's not what my life is going to be about. I am going to find a way to live off just what I want to do. And when I am done providing for my children and making sure, I mean, my room is just my books in this tiny little bed, and they have this palace of a wonderland. The biggest room in the whole house is all theirs, with bunk beds and toys, fancy things, and they have all the food in the world when they're here. And they have whatever they want. And they're so well taken care of, and they're so well loved. And I want nothing for myself anymore, really, than to just have the few things that I really like to read and be inspired by, and have the time to be comfortable. And at the end of the day, know that I'm going to sleep happy as hell, and that my girls are so happy and they feel so loved, and I feel so loved and I'm so happy, than ever, ever, ever again be a part of any system or put myself or choose to actively put myself into a situation where I wake up every day miserable again. I can't do it. I did it for so long and I hated myself and I wanted to take my life. And I was like, and I was treating people like shit. I was treating people like trash because I was miserable all the time. And at least now I'm happy. And at least now I'm treating people with respect, and at least now I'm finally looking in myself. I'm taking time to not fill every single moment of the day, whether it be with fiction or a story or like trying to just fill it with something, but to genuinely like just sit down, close my eyes, and let my mind go, and just naturally what comes to me and what flows through. And because I'm able to process things about myself, and I'm able to finally work on myself. And no one, my whole life, I feel like everyone is trying to force fixes, and you're never able to force a fix. No. You just cannot force a fix. You cannot beat a river into submission. You have to surrender to its current and use its power as your own.
No, you just build a dam.
Okay. You could build a dam. You could, but eventually that dam is going to face resistance. And it's actually, that dam is always you can build a dam, but that dam will always face resistance. But yeah, man. What else? What's your mindset like recently? How you been feeling? I know you were doing a job change. You said something about job change.
Yeah, I have a transfer request in at work. Kind of waiting for that. I got vacation starts on Thursday, so I'm just I'm in a good place right now. I got 2 more days of work, and then I'm gonna be chilling for a couple weeks, kind of resetting, spending time with family. My birthday's coming up, so
that's dope.
Just gonna focus on life for a couple weeks here and kind of get resetted. Hopefully, this job change happens, and I can be in a better place with that.
And just so everyone knows, you work for a penis factory, correct? That distributes, makes, and distributes dildos, different shapes and sizes. Schlong Along Incorporated.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm actually part of it.
He's the marketing director and the product placement director. I'm in charge of.
You are familiar.
I'm in charge of quality control and product design.
You're all familiar with the expression, go suck a bag of dicks. Where do you think those bags come from?
Us.
They don't grow on trees. We make them. We make those bags of dicks. Currently, and we deliver them to your friend's door.
We have a special on the Danny DeVito. The Danny DeVito special is currently going on.
Johnny Long Dongs were a big seller for a long time. We have run out. We got a Danny DeVito special.
Yeah, I think we're discontinued the Johnny Long Dongs, just so we can move on to some new products. The Danny DeVitos are our current special. We gotta get that stock out. I think we're reaching out.
Yeah, I'm so done with those. We're done with those.
Some of your favorite people, you know, we have reached out to potentially see if we can get the Trump Stump package going.
The Trump Stump Thicky McGavin's package is on the way. I just sealed the deal today, my guy.
It's just some legal stuff we gotta finish up, and then we'll get that.
No,
out.
I just sealed the deal today, dude.
I did shit. I'm just learning right here. We're just learning it live. All right. But anyway. We appreciate y'all being here. Let us know down below if there's anything you want us to read, anything you want us to talk about, any questions you have for us. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit, and just know that we love you and life's good. No matter.
Yeah, say hello to your mother for me.
She's gonna get better and tell somebody you love them. All right.
Fucking
see ya.